Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Snack. We do have live tournament action coming at you right now. It is going to be on MLG's Typhon Peaks. We are in the finals of tonight's Alt Arena tournament. Oh my goodness, this has been quite a journey so far. We have dealt with the fun, the sad, the tragic, the angry, and even the brutal on occasion so far in these matchups. It's been a wonderful tournament, though, in many, many respects. I've had a great time. We've had a co-caster on. Effort has been with us tonight. It has been beautiful fun with that guy. He's so knowledgeable about this game and really has a lot to add to that Starcraft community in general. And we have seen some beautiful matchups where people are battling it out, shooting for this grand prize of the evening, which is not tons. It is coming out of my pocket, so I'm not super rich, but it is $20. HoneyBear versus CCalms. Now, they are in cross positions on this map, so this Overlord scouting will occur right around the 6-minute mark, if he's lucky. But that is the nature of Overlord scouts. Now, HoneyBear is our purple Protoss, or sorry, purple Zerg player. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, CCalms is our pink Protoss up here in the top left. He is going to be working on what appears to be a fairly standard opener, going to be going for a wall off here, and not going to be going for any forge fast expands. Now, difficult to do on this map because look at that supply depot placement. Ouch! Brutal. Forge fast expanding, not super effective here. You really have to put it from this side anyway, so I guess it's okay, but yeah, pretty good stuff. And they expand here for HoneyBear, though, going down first. Hatch first right now. Now, CCalms did scout, or is scouting, I should say. Just now scouting over there. He didn't step over there to see the hatchery, though, so going to come up here first and see that there is indeed a spawning pool going down. Going to be wary, though, of the timing there, so going to come down here and check. Yes, he is checking the timing, see if there was a hatch first. It is indeed exactly that. Let's check in on the units tab for just a moment. Notice that HoneyBear will be slightly behind in the drone count, and but he will be catching up here fairly shortly in just a bit. We'll see how it's going to go for him. Notice that CCalms does have his cyber core gone down in pretty dang good time. I love the crisp timings from CCalms. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you want to see a really fun Protoss stream, CCalms does stream, and I have it added because I actually go watch CCalms stream a lot. I actually love watching him play for some reason. He speaks to me, and I kind of understand really well as he's playing what's going on, and it's really helped my gameplay as a Protoss player. But his is twitch.tv/CCalms. So go check him out if you do have the time. It is really, really good stream there, and he's always got nice music and a really nice atmosphere, as well as good friends and good chat. So, and yeah, it's fun. But check him out. HoneyBear, I wonder if he's got one, but if he does, I haven't seen it. But we do have the expand here for HoneyBear up and running. Notice he is getting a queen out in fairly good time. The queen here at the main about to be out as well. Does have his gas complete here, but not mining gas yet. So HoneyBear not going for some early tech, and not even for that metabolic speed boost right off the bat. And if we do check in on CCalms base, notice he is chrono boosting out his cyber core here fairly rigorously. And that drone not going to live, did not make it into the base because there was a zealot. Now we do have the stalker already out on the field here. He's cruising around the map. Looks like he's going to be blinding the towers here. I like that play from him quite a bit. Either that or just holding a tower. Nope, he is going to blind the tower. I think that's a very, very smart play early in the game because you know that your Zerg opponent is going to tend to go for a little bit heavier macro play early in the game on a big map like this. So one stalker can be fairly effective, but you got to make sure not to get him killed. And so these Zerglings, lucky they don't have the speed, otherwise they would be chasing this poor stalker down. But he did poke in there and does see plenty of Zerglings here, so he knows. It does get some good scouting information off of that. And backing out there in pretty good time, though, he is taking a Nexus of his own. And a fairly fast expand at that. A Forge going down here as well. Cool. So I love these one gate to Forge openers that are becoming a little bit more popular. We've seen Niter, who was in the tournament earlier. We've seen Niter do some very, very interesting one warp gate to Forge play, and it's really, really interesting stuff. So taking out this neutral supply depot here for CCalms seems to be the order of the day. He is working on his Nexus. Looks like to be a little bit over 50% complete. In the meantime, we do have warp gate number 2 complete up here, and continuing to chrono boost out now Hallucination. I like that. Hallucination, a very, very nice spell This can really get you some good scouting with Hallucinated Phoenix. I think is extremely valuable thing to be doing, especially against Zerg, which is difficult for you to get your scouting in unless you do commit to that robo build, which you may or may not want to do. That airplay can be so very effective against Zerg. So CCalms is going to be moving some drones down here to his expand. There he goes, because that expand is now complete. Notice he does have some defensive photon cannons going up here. Nice placement there, it appears. And a Hallucinated Phoenix right away, going to be gathering some intel here in just a moment. So we'll check back in on him in just a sec. And what is this? Twilight Council on the way. Woohoo! That is fun. So Twilight Council for CCalms. We're going to see some tech there. Now we'll see where else he's going to tech based on his scouting. Oh, look at this. He is going to see a double Evo chambers. Double Evo chambers, and cruising down here is going to see not much else going on, except it is a lot of spine crawlers. Yet again, HoneyBear loving those spine crawlers, and super effective with them, man. I really appreciate the type of play that he is going for here. It's fairly unique in many regards, and fun to watch. So I'm really appreciating that right now. We do have CCalms with a fairly substantial army, though, checking around here for any Zerglings prepared for a run by and such. Not going to be any quite yet. He is going to be just camping here. It doesn't look like he's going for a push quite yet. Notice that HoneyBear going to be taking out these destructible rocks for some backdoor type of attacks. I like that quite a bit. And securing his third at the same time. So great timing here on the third. It is a little early. Not bad there at all. A fairly aggressive play from him. Let's just check the units counting tab for just a moment. Notice that the economies of these two fairly even at this point. We do have an Overseer on the way too. Good. So is it this guy over here? Yes, it is. He's going to be cruising in here to get some intel. Got to love it. And we do have Blink on the way for CCalms. Very effective spell to have right at this point. A little bit of a run by there, but great reaction there from CCalms. Notice that he did use his probes as a meat shield there to keep them right next to the photon cannon, as well as keep them in range of those stalkers. As he was moving out across the map, though, oh my goodness, here goes the attack. HoneyBear going to be getting a nice looking surround here. Taking out quite a few units, but great blink there. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful blink. And good scouting there from CCalms is going to be blinking these guys out of there. Wow. Can you believe the micro from CCalms at this moment? Wonderful stuff. Is going to be transitioning. Now he does see that HoneyBear committing a lot to Zergling play here and taking that third. So knows what he's up against right now. We'll see where he's going to transition from here. Notice that it is going to be Robo. Facility is on the way. We do have weapons level 2 going down, and just +1 weapons so far. So hasn't gone for any defense quite yet. Now still using stalkers. Very interesting. Blinking here to take care of that scout. We do have the robotics bay going down here in great time. We'll see whether or not HoneyBear has noticed this or not here in just a little bit. He would have had to have clicked it for him to see it there, so that's good stuff. HoneyBear does have a forward position here with a lot of Zerglings, and some Zerglings back here for defense as well as at his third. So I mean, really good defensive position as well as good map control. Looks like he is going to be taking some of them here to perform. Oh, he didn't end up breaking those rocks down. Gonna go ahead and work on it right now, so good stuff. And notice that we are going to be transitioning here into Colossus for CCalms, and the Thermal Lance on the way. We probably are going to see a good deal of Zealots as well, I would assume. Now he does have some more gateways on the way. I'm liking that quite a bit, but still a lot of Blink Stalkers, so could be interesting. He may end up splitting his army here. Blink Stalkers somewhere else, and then the Zealots and Colossus in another army, but maybe not. I mean, he's keeping them all together right now. Of course, he does need that. He doesn't have enough Zealots quite yet, or enough Colossus to deal with those Zerglings. But look at this. My goodness, HoneyBear being very active with his units, breaking down rocks all over the map, going to secure himself a lot of avenues for escape and counterattacking and the like. Look at that, keeping these guys in this back position here. He's really doing a great job at this. I love it quite a bit, and he is on his solid 3-base play here, but not... Oh, and there's his new tech. It is Mutalisks. He did get that Spire out. Notice that he is getting Carapace level 2 as well as Melee attack level 2 and Flyer attack level 2, so I think he has made his choice at this point. It is going to be Ling Muta for just a while, and then maybe a transition in the late game to Broodlords, which is fairly effective. But a good army composition here from CCalms, but HoneyBear kicking the door down with 154 supply of almost pure Zerglings and Mutalisks at this point. Notice he is getting some Roaches here, probably just more for tanks than anything else, but look at this critical mass here of Mutas. Now CCalms very, very wise to be, now I understand, you see what I'm saying? Very wise to be keeping those Stalkers in his army, not going too heavy into the Zealot and Colossus play there, because now he's going to be in this nice position where he can defend against this very, very hefty Muta play. But that is a very sickening number of Mutas. It is definitely critical mass. These guys are going to be able to do a lot of damage, and it looks like the attack is going to be coming here in just a moment, so wait for it. Wait for it. Nice little wall off here from CCalms to try and keep run-bys from going down to this natural. And here come the Mutas. Knows that his opponent's going to be out of position here for just a moment. And going to be brutalizing the economy here of CCalms in game number 1. HoneyBear with nearly a maxed out army right now. And here come all the Blink Stalkers to try and get up in here and deal with these guys. Oh my goodness, Colossus, please do not get sniped. Lucky, lucky for CCalms there. Those Mutas could have absolutely sniped those units. And now he is going to be cruising around here taking out the photon cannons. Oh my goodness, this has got to be so frustrating right now for CCalms, who is going to have to just kind of go for, I don't know what he's going to have to do, but defense here is going to be difficult. He's got to keep some Stalkers back here, but with that critical mass, you can't really split up this Stalker army at this point. So he is in a pickle, that is for sure. Trying to focus these suckers down, and it is, wow, this is great move here for HoneyBear. Let's take a look at his army here. It is going to be Roaches, man. He should transition out of that Mass Lean into some serious Roach play here. +2 Carapace on those suckers, and it is really looking good at this point. And he still has a lot of Mutas on the field as well as a lot of Lings. Speedlings here just cruising in, going to get sacked, that's for sure. And here comes yet another harass. Mutas just doing so much damage. Oh, I just don't think CCalms is really going to have trouble coming back in this matchup. Notice that HoneyBear securing his 4th, and oh my goodness, he's just stomping right now, and CCalms really having trouble with that huge number of Mutalisks. I don't blame him. It's so difficult to deal with. And I mean, what do you do at this point? I mean, you can't really transition to your Stargate play because you don't have enough units. And here comes the essentially all-in some regards here for CCalms. Now, he does have a great number of units here. Could potentially make this happen. And here comes the Roaches, though, with all of the Mutas as well. The Mutas getting sacked here. The Roaches here with only +1, +2, but going to be moving right towards these Colossus. Good Micro Colossus there. Colossus Micro, I should say. Going to be brutalizing those. Now you see the tables turning slightly here for HoneyBear, losing a lot of units, but we've got to see CCalms move in here and punish this Zerg opponent's economy here. Otherwise, it is really going to be difficult because CCalms is now stuck on 2 base, and that is a painful situation to be in. Looks like he may be able to do it here. He's got quite a few units. +3 attack on these guys is absolutely phenomenal. Got to love that, and especially with that Blink Micro being so effective at this point, brutalizing all of these Roaches so very well. I'm loving this play from CCalms right now. He may be able to turn the tide in this game. In some regards, he's got to start taking out some hatcheries here, I think. Oh my goodness! Wow. And HoneyBear leaving the game in a huff. I don't blame him. That has got to be frustrating. I am mystified as to how CCalms won it, but he is the master. So good stuff. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt tab. Always alt Starcraft. We will see you guys in just a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you tonight. It is the finals of Alt Arena. That is our all-league tournament for the evening, and it has been tons of fun. We do have a cash prize on the line here. Cool. It's asking if there's a cash prize. Should be though. Maybe we'll add in a second place prize. It probably is worth it because has to do a lot of work, and if you do kind of end up losing in that final there, yeah, it's a lot of work to end up with nothing. Yep. But it is going to be on cross positions here on Shattered Temple. HoneyBear is our purple Zerg up here at the 12 o'clock position. At 6 o'clock it is CCalms as our pink Protoss. I love cross positions on Shattered Temple because then we don't have to deal with that close air position, which can really, really make a big game-changing difference there. But we do have a fairly early scout here from CCalms. Let's follow this guy for just a moment. He is interesting for a while. And in he goes. There's the good luck, have fun. 2 base all in. Incoming! Oh, it's funny. Oh, it's funny. But these guys having a little bit of fun together. I'm liking that quite a bit. It looks as though we are going to see CCalms blocking the expand for just a moment. But we do have, it appears, spawning pool first here from HoneyBear. And a standard wall off here for CCalms. Not going to be going for any Forge Fast expands, which they're a little bit more difficult on this map. It's kind of a wide choke unless you want to do it right here, and even then it's not that small. Actually, you can do it from here to here. From here to here, but yeah, it is what it is, and he is going to be going for what appears to be a standard wall off, so we don't have to worry about any failed Forge Fast expanding. So good stuff there. HoneyBear is going to have his spawning pool complete. Still no hatchery down yet, so that's kind of interesting. And here comes the first drone. Going to cruise down here. Looks like he's going to have to attack this probe. Now, CCalms very, very good at denying expansions for quite a while. We should see some good micro here, as well as... Oh my goodness, never mind. He misclicked it that time. That's for sure. But that's okay. That is okay. He did not get the block there for more than a few seconds. Is going to cruise up here just to get a drone count, I assume. And not a bad deal. Wants to see where his opponent's at. He does see the spawning pool and no gas. So now that's good for him. He knows exactly what his opponent's doing now. He should be macroing up. There goes the first gas. Maybe a potential switch here from HoneyBear since he did deny that scouting here for just a little while. We'll see if he is going to switch up and not go for super macro, but go for a 2-base play, which can be very, very effective here. A 2-base roach push is not a bad idea, but we'll see what he's got in the works for us here in just a bit. He hasn't chosen his tech pattern quite yet. CCalms, on the other hand, is going to be going for, I assume, a 1-gate expand here in just a moment. You can see him putting down that pylon. Yeah, run over, run over. Did save the Overlord. Lucky, lucky. That's always good to do. And it looks like CCalms will be chasing off these 3 Zerglings with these units here and going to be going for his expanded. Pretty decent time. 5.5 minutes in. Perfect timing there. I like it. And let's take a look back here at HoneyBear. What has he got going for us? It is droning up like crazy. So he did just get that gas just enough to get his, guess what, metabolic speed boost. So he is going to be sticking with this play of macro, macro, macro for just a little while and going to try and maintain good scouting here to pull him through when an attack starts to come. So fairly standard Zerg play at this point and a fairly standard Protoss play at this point. But where we see the deviations will be in just a little while. Notice that CCalms is putting down a forge here yet again for his expand. I love this play from him. It's really methodical play. It's a fairly safe play, and it really allows for your early upgrades to come out, which you got to have these days against Zerg. You really, really need to keep those upgrades going, especially against somebody like HoneyBear who is on target with his upgrades. And you don't want to have an upgrade advantage with a Zerg player there. So good stuff there. We do have the forge complete. Probably going to toss down, I would assume, a couple of cannons here. But we shall see in just a moment. But we do have a tech pattern from CCalms. It is going to be a Stargate. I like the positioning of the Stargate here. It's going to be difficult for his opponent to scout it unless he does send an Overlord to that position, which will put it in danger of getting sniped, so he may not scout there. And it is Void Ray, so Void Ray is going to be fairly effective in this matchup right now. We only have one queen here at the main, one queen here at the natural, no second base yet, and absolutely no AA other than the queens. So good stuff there. We do have Void Ray number 1. Oh, don't go straight across the center. Oh, okay, too late. He is scouted. Now we should see HoneyBear getting up some AA. Notice all the spine crawlers. This is standard HoneyBear play. You've got to love it. And here comes the Void Ray. And a Phoenix behind. So good stuff here. He's going to be able to lift the Queen. So Queen's not going to be super effective AA here. Going to start charging up. Is he going to go for that Spore Crawler here? That's the question. Going to be sniping some Overlords here. Not a bad deal either. We did get, as soon as HoneyBear scouted the air, he went ahead and tossed down some Spore Crawlers. I love that from him. It's good reaction timing. Beautiful stuff. And it looks as though that air will be held off here for just a moment. But not bad. He does have this Phoenix here he can be very, very active with. Oh, almost getting sniped there. Got to be careful. There are plenty of Spore Crawlers now out on the field. So really, really good stuff. Great defense right now from HoneyBear. And CCalms didn't lose any of those units, but he does have this one almost dead. Of course, he will regain the shields, and that's always helpful. But can't do tons with these guys at this point. There's just enough AA here for it to be really, really effective. Looks like we are going to see some creep spread now from HoneyBear. And going to be sending that towards his opponent's base. It looks like CCalms is going to be gearing up for his third. As well as HoneyBear gearing up for his third. So good stuff here from both of these players. We do have a Twilight Council going down here for CCalms, as well as a robotics facility. So a lot of teching going on from CCalms at this point. Whereas HoneyBear not going for so much tech quite yet. You know, he does have his lair out, but only thing he's got so far for tech really is these upgrades that he is currently pumping out, and no new tech patterns. Oh wait, I take that back. He does have Hydras. I didn't even notice that. But yes, he does have Hydras on top of those Roaches now. So it is going to be Roach Hydra here for just a little bit. CCalms does scout this though, so that will let him know what's going on there. It looks like HoneyBear going to be gearing up for his gold as well as taking down these backdoor rocks to CCalms' third. So nice play there from HoneyBear. That could come in very, very handy here in just a little bit, especially if he can deny CCalms from getting that third. In the meantime, we do have Colossus on the way. We do have Blink on the way, so it is going to be Blink Stalker Colossus here yet again, sacking the Stargate here for just a little while. Just sticking with these 3 air units to gather his scouting intel as well as just harass a little bit here and there where possible. Now HoneyBear did take down the backdoor rocks, is going to be cruising in here right now. Let's follow these guys, these scary looking Zerglings, and just see where they are headed. Just going to camp here, it looks like, for just a moment. But here comes a big army of HoneyBear. Oh, it's not that big, it's just Zerglings, but it is still plenty of Zerglings. Good force field there, going to block himself in, and does already have a Colossus out, which absolutely would have obliterated that army of HoneyBear there. So good control, and I think wise move here from HoneyBear to be backing out. Now, CCalms may be true to his word. Early in this game, he was saying 2 base all in incoming, and he may be gearing up for that. Does not look like it, though. He is going to be securing a third, so not going to be true to his word, but that's okay. I think he was just being metaphorical in some respects. But because of that last game, he got stuck on 2 base and then had to push all in, and it worked out pretty good. So, but fun stuff from these guys. It's really, really fun. And we do have the Blink now complete. No charge on the way quite yet, but is more Colossus right now. And the tech pattern here is going to be changing here for HoneyBear. He is going for a Spire at the moment. Where is he putting it down? There is the Spire right there. And still working on Carapace and missile attack, so it's going to stick heavy Roach Hydra here for just a little while. Good looking army. He does have plenty of Lings mixed in here for some surrounding type action there, as well as with potential small meat shield there with that with that plus Carapace upgrade, they tend to be fairly effective. I mean, not really against Colossus, but what is effective against Colossus? And CCalms going for a little bit of a wall off here. Going to be blocking his third for a Zergling run by. But look at this. Creep spread now cruising out to the center of the map. Going to be arcing this stuff across the entire map, it looks like. I like this play quite a bit. And it looks as though HoneyBear may be moving out here. This is not a bad time to attack. He does have map control at this point, so it will take his opponent just a moment to scout it. Now, CCalms in the meantime is gearing up for his his fourth rather. At the gold expand, going to try and put himself on even bases there. But we do have some scouting Zerglings coming in just to check out the army size of CCalms. And CCalms going to cruise out to the center of the map here with a very sizable force. He does have 5 sentries in here with full energy, so a lot of force fields definitely available for him there. Getting a couple Zealots mixed in here, not a bad idea, but it's just 3 Stalkers and a couple of his air units there, so not a bad deal, but mostly Blink Stalker play at this point. So he is going to be cruising in here to try and deny this gold expand here. Going to have to focus down these Corruptors with these Stalkers here, but look at that corruption being used here very effectively, but force fields keeping this DPS here backed out, and looks like CCalms will be backing out here safely. Did not lose but one of his Colossus there and took out all the Corruptors. Now that is not a bad deal, so congrats to him for that, I would say. Really, really nice play for CCalms, backing out very, very nicely, saving himself a lot of trouble there. This Roach Hydra army in really great shape. They do have +2 Carapace complete, +1 ranged attack here, the Acid Saliva, and spines or whatever, needle spines here on the Hydras, but +1 attack there, not a second on the way, but he is going for the flyer attacks here. Now it's kind of interesting, an infestation pit as well. So here comes the attack again. CCalms here at the center of the map, and force fielding going down, but look at that nice arc that HoneyBear is able to get on his opponent there, having to micro these Colossus back. There's so many Corruptors here, corruption being used here yet again on all of these units. It looks as though CCalms is going to have to back out here very, very quickly. Ouch. Looks like HoneyBear definitely winning that engagement at this point and doing a phenomenal job. And looks as though CCalms may be in trouble here in game number 2. Good defense here. Nice blink being utilized. Is going to be able to take out the rest of these this army here, but look what HoneyBear's got behind it already. He's already remacroing an army very, very, very quickly, but I think the time for pushing for CCalms is going to come to an end here in just a moment, unless he's going to perform an all-in type push. But he's really got to be careful here, I think. His army is just going to start falling behind. Notice the supply discrepancy here is getting fairly large, and it is a lot of Corruptors out on the field right now with a lot of Roaches. My goodness. +1, +2 on these guys right now. No new upgrades here from HoneyBear quite yet. Still no Greater Spire. So it is going to be sticking with the Corruptors. Seems to favor that corruption ability. My goodness, it really is an effective spell when it comes down to it. But here comes the attack right now. HoneyBear should be in decent shape here. CCalms going to have to do a lot of work to hold on. That is for sure. And looks like he may not be able to. Colossus getting sniped so quickly. That guy not in good position. Now Roach is getting into the face here of these Stalkers. And it is, wow, brutal, brutal push here from HoneyBear. And my goodness, I think CCalms may just have lost game number 2. I love the chat here. Zelnaga it is. I will go ahead and host that. Thanks for coming out. Donut Tab always on Starcraft. See you guys next time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We are in tonight's finals of our Alt Arena for the All Leagues. The Alt Arena Open, I guess, is what we're calling it these days. Uh-oh. There we go. A little bit slow to the draw there for HoneyBear. Looks like he's not too bad. He maybe lost just a couple seconds. And looks like CCalms wasn't too far behind either, so should be okay here. It looks as though we are going to be just fine, but it is going to be Game 3 in a best-of-5 here in our finals. And it is tied up currently 1-1. So the pressure will be on one of these players after this game. It will be match point for one of them. And that is going to be fun to see. We'll see who's going to take down the win here. There's the good luck, have fun, GG, okay, and you too from CCalms. I love these guys. I mean, they're fairly well mannered. I know. I mean, I think that these guys really tend to be wary of each other and maybe even a little cocky towards each other. But I think that is a healthy thing here. I think that none of this has really been bad manners. We don't have people cursing and screaming at each other, but they're just trying to throw each other off their game maybe a little bit with some of their chat. But at the beginning, notice that they fall right back to good manners like that. And it's really, really, really nice to see. So we do have no spawning pool down quite yet. CCalms going to be cruising out with his probe for just a moment. Doesn't want to get sniped or anything like that. But we do have a standard wall off here for CCalms going down. And going to be putting down, I assume, his Cybercore in this position here. And the Zealot right there. Not a bad deal. And down goes the expand here for HoneyBear. And CCalms going to cruise up here and say, wait a second, did you put down a spawning pool? And indeed, there is no spawning pool yet, so it is hatch first here. Wow. Now talk about slight aggression here economically from HoneyBear. Going to take that expand first. I'm kind of liking it, to be honest. But we do have a spawning pool now going down for HoneyBear, and CCalms is like, okay, interesting build. He's cruising around here trying to figure out what's going on, and is absolutely going to know what to do here, I think. He's got his Cybercore going down. We'll see how he's going to transition and deal with this macro-style play here from HoneyBear on this very small map. In the meantime, he does have his second gas going down here, so that is indicative of tech here. Ladies and gentlemen, he got that gas fairly early. I'm liking it. And we do have no new tech quite yet, though. Does have the spawning pool here about to complete for HoneyBear. And the expand about to be complete as well. So good stuff from HoneyBear. Let's just check in on the units counting and see where we're at economically. 19 probes to 18 drones. Now HoneyBear could potentially pull in the lead here because of his expand. And we should see some queens coming down eventually here, but notice he's utilizing his drones up quickly, getting his queen out here at the main first, and then going to be, yep, there goes the queen at the natural, so good stuff. We do have a stalker on the way here. Looks like a second stalker, I should say. First stalker going to be trying to take out this overlord and may end up getting the snipe there. Oh! And he did get the snipe. Great snipe there from CCalms. That does supply block HoneyBear here for just a second. Two more gateways and a Twilight Council here for CCalms. So HoneyBear's messaging me. You guys can see that. He's saying 5 gate incorporated into Stargate 1 base. Cool. Well, we'll see if he's correct. It doesn't quite look like it. Looks like Blink Stalkers to me, but that is fairly effective as well. A couple Stalkers here cruising forward. Do get taken out. Looks like this Zealot is going to go down as well. He does pick up 1 kill. Not a second, though, unfortunately. And it is going to be some Ling aggression here in just a moment. Notice that CCalms got to be careful here. He's only got a Stalker here to block that base. And going for his warp gates now, should be able to warp in just enough units to defend here. But that's a lot of units here for HoneyBear. It is just warping in Stalkers, so that's kind of interesting. Nice control there from CCalms. Notice he didn't miss a shot as he moved those Stalkers into position to block if he needed to. That was really, really nice micro there, and HoneyBear almost got in that base. It was getting pretty close down to the wire. It looks as though CCalms is going to be pushing out with some Blink Stalkers here. Now, we do have a forward position from HoneyBear, so he should scout this right away. He's already scouting it if he's watching his minimap, that's for sure. And a tight wall off right now for CCalms, not a bad play. That will at least keep those Zerglings out of his base for a moment, but here he goes up the ramp. We'll see if CCalms is going to go ahead and push the attack or back out here. He's going to back out for just a second. Yep, there he goes. And here comes several Zerglings, and by several I mean like 1,000. Look at all these Zerglings. HoneyBear going to try and brutalize these stalkers. Up they go to the high ground. Like that quite a bit. Good control here from CCalms. Is going to have to, though, mount some defense here at his main. And here comes the warp-ins. Where is he warping them in? Oh, he's warping them in right here. Got to be careful. There's a good surround on this warp gate here, and they could potentially get in here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is so close. Wow, this defense is so phenomenal from CCalms. Look at that blink control, keeping those Zerglings out of his base. And I cannot believe how many Zerglings he just killed there. That is unbelievable. And doing all of this off 3 gateways. Fantastic stuff. He is chrono boosting that stuff so well. And look at that. Nice compliment there from Honeyboy. Very nice. I mean, really saying great job there. I agree. I think CCalms pulled off a phenomenal feat. I love the cool head on this guy. And the pun is intended there. CCalms, coldness calms. Anyway, fun stuff, but we do have blink stalkers cruising out across the map here. Going to have to blink up to the high ground here one at a time again. Trying to look at that blink control, getting these guys up in phenomenal positioning there. Rebuilding this here quickly. It was 4 gates, I should say, not 3 gates, but going to be able to take this down here fairly quickly, blinking these guys up here for defense. And look at that, HoneyBear yet again thwarted, is going to have to back out. Now the nice thing is for HoneyBear that he does have his second base already up and running. Now I've been watching the units tab. I'll get your production tab up here in just a moment, but 22 probes in favor of CCalms to 18 at this point, and HoneyBear can transition out of this though still fairly easily. He's got a lot of queens here too, and look at this, he's going to be spreading creep like crazy train. And here comes the stalker push. Blink being used so very well so far in this game. Got to love it. And here comes the flank. Lot of Zerglings here. Going to be blinking down to the low ground. Not a bad thing. Wow, great control. I mean, yet again, look at this blink being utilized so very effectively here. We are going to see a counter attack here from these speedlings, though, really quickly. CCalms going to have to potentially back out or turn it into a base race situation. Looks like, oh wow, HoneyBear didn't go for the counter here. Blink so effective right now. Got to love what CCalms is able to pull off here, but here comes the counter attack from the backside. Like that play from HoneyBear. Really good stuff. Trying to counter that blink ability so very well with these speedlings. But is it going to be enough? There are just so many stalkers on the field right now, and more on the way. We should see another warp in here at just about any moment. Phenomenal stuff right now. Blink. Oh man, this blink is just phenomenal. What can we say? CCalms really showing a lot of skill here. HoneyBear definitely not out of this game yet. These Zerglings are a great counter to stalkers, but the blink making a big difference here. I mean, HoneyBear's really having to throw units at this army over and over and taking substantial losses doing it. So kind of interesting stuff. Looks as though CCalms may back out here for just a moment. I don't know. We'll see. Nope, he is going to be pressing the attack. You can see him going right back up here to the high ground. Got to love it. No new tech yet. No expansions from CCalms quite yet. Oh, yes. But here comes the attack. It is Blink Mania. Look at this. Blink being utilized here again. And HoneyBear trying to make this happen with the... and there's the GG. Wow. Just too much to handle. That Blink being utilized over and over again. And able to pull out a win there against a very aggressive HoneyBear there. So beautiful stuff. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in game number 4. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you right now on GSL's Terminus Re. I absolutely love this map. It is an extremely large map, and it has got a definite macro style of play potential here. You can really expand at will sometimes on this map. Now notice the spawn positions though here between these players. Oh, before we get into the spawn positions, I'll tell you that in just a second. I won't forget, I promise. But I do want to mention that it is Game 4 right now, and it is match point for CCalms. So if he does take this down, he will have won the finals in tonight's All League Alt Arena. So I'm super excited for this. It is match point. I mean, the pressure on HoneyBear right now. Now he's definitely got the skill to take this down. That's for sure, and he is in great position now on this very large macro map. It seems like he favors this macro style play, and he's really got a wonderful thing going with his mid to late game play. We've seen that before from him, and it is so good. And CCalms though, gearing up for what appears to be a standard wall off. Now a lot of the times you will see guys go for a forge fast expand on this map. I don't necessarily think it's you know, the best thing to do, but it definitely is easy to do on this map. It's fairly easy to wall this off, even though it is pretty large because of that long rush distance. You can pretty safely forge fast expand, but it is indeed going to be a standard wall off here. So gateway going down here for CCalms. HoneyBear does not have an expand quite yet, but it looks like he may be gearing up for exactly that. And blockage there from CCalms, doing a great job just stalling this expansion. Oh, but it does go down. HoneyBear getting in there. Gotta love how quick his reaction time is. As soon as he saw that probe out of position, boom, put that hatchery down. Got to love that. Now CCalms is going to be cruising up here to get the rest of his intel. Is going to see the gas and the spawning pool going down, so he knows what he's going up against at this point. Good scouting there. We do have a cybercore going down here for CCalms. Perfect timing. That's what we definitely want to be seeing. And it appears that HoneyBear does have his overlord here in the base, going to be gathering a little bit of intel himself. Is going to see the standard wall off here, so no forge fast expand, so he'll know how to react to that. In the meantime, it is going to be CCalms continuing to scout here. Now notice the spawning pool about to complete, so we should see some Zerglings out on the map here for some map control in just a moment, as well as queens. Got to have those queens ASAP. They are super effective at injecting larvae. In fact, they're the only units that do it. But now you know. Alright, and the expand now for HoneyBear is up and running. No drone transfer quite yet. Looks like he may just saturate it naturally, which is not a bad deal. But notice that CCalms going for a fairly early nexus himself here. Did do that off one gateway. Is working on his warp gate technology, but is going to be getting a fairly strong economy here pretty quick. Now we do have some Zerglings cruising out across the map here, so we are going to have some defense in just a moment. We do have a stalker on the way. Looks like that stalker should pop out in just enough time to be effective here. Only 2 Zerglings cruising in, and that is not going to be enough. But here's the stalker, and he did scout though the timing of this nexus, so that's really solid stuff there for HoneyBear. Now notice that CCalms yet again, I love this play from him, putting down his forge after his his initial gateway and take the expand there. Go ahead and get the forge, and then he'll start on his upgrades right away, essentially. It's beautiful play, getting down 2 more gateways as well here for a little bit of a wall off. Going to be blocking this with a zealot as well. So good stuff there from him. Let's just check in on his main. You do see a probe transfer going down to the natural, and his second gas at this point going down. We do have a bunch of Lings cruising out across the field right now. This is a pretty decent number here, but we do have a sentry out. That's going to be fairly effective here. Looks like that wall off going to be tight enough here and just enough defense to hold off, but a lot of Zerglings here. We do need to see, I think, a force field to protect this building. The forge cannot go down here. There we go. That's what we want to see. We need to see this zealot move forward just a little bit as well, I think. It'd probably be slightly better positioning there, but more sentries here. Got to keep this forge alive here. If the forge goes down, it means bad news. HoneyBear does see the extra sentries there, and the sentries now going to be the deciding factor. As long as there are continued force fields protecting this building, it will be absolutely safe at this point, and there should be plenty of defense here. Yeah, those spine crawlers are pretty effective. These guys talking a little bit about their strategies here. It's kind of fun. There goes all of the spine crawlers. HoneyBear, as usual, man. I love it. I love it. Always putting down his spine crawlers, and he's really right in a lot of respects. These guys. Oh, did I? Oh, whoops. Whoops, I guess I probably did make a mistake there. I do apologize. I think I did put SE. I think I did put SE in the map list. Whoops. But it looks like we've got, look at all these spine crawlers now in a perfect line there. And it is going to be an expand here from HoneyBear, going to be securing his third, but CCalms securing the third as well. Now note that the third does only has 6 mineral patches, but it does have a rich Vespian geyser. But you've got to be careful here. You cannot oversaturate this base, and you cannot count on your gas production for too long, because the rich Vespian geyser does get mined out quite a bit faster. So got to keep that stuff in mind. And we do have CCalms cruising out across the field here with a very substantial force. He has got plenty of sentries, that's for sure. And we've got plenty of lings here. It looks like it is going to be a ling and spine crawler defense. But oh my goodness, am I missing this? I absolutely am. We do have a run by here. Ling's getting in and unpowering this building and going to be going straight into the mineral line. Looks like CCalms is going to back out here. And back to his mineral line there. Going to be pulling these drones, or probes rather, trying to keep these guys alive. Super, super important right now. And here he goes. Looks like we may get, oh, maybe not. There's going to be a warp in here. And it looks like all these guys are going to die here. Now, CCalms did get his third up just in time so that he could put those, at least put those probes somewhere else for a moment. So good stuff, and nice defense here. It was definitely a smart move to be backing out and defending this, and it looks as though he should be in pretty decent shape. Notice he does have his third saturated here. Nothing on that gas quite yet, but he is in pretty decent shape. Just now repowering these buildings. Super effective. Got to love that. And he is sticking with this tech pattern for now. Now we should see a tech switch, I think, out of CCalms here in just a moment, but let's just check in on HoneyBear. Notice the lings. I thought this was Re, but I guess I am wrong. I thought I hosted Re. I must have misclicked. Alright, but we do have what appears to be ground armor level 1 on the way right now. And more. Oh, Stargates. Look at that. Triple Stargates. Yikes. That's a lot of Stargates, ladies and gentlemen. And CCalms going to be pushing forward here, just poking in to see what's going on. Yeah, it is really good. I love this wall off here. It's so phenomenal. It's tight. You can't get a surround on these units. You have to kill one to start even to surround one of them. But you can only get, like, it looks like 3 zealots on a spine crawler here, and that's not super effective. You can't really focus it down that quickly. But great wall in. We do have plenty of mutas now out on the field. It looks as though HoneyBear is going to go for some muta harass. He did get supply blocked here for just a second. And here comes the harass. No defense here at the main right now for CCalms. CCalms going to have to get up here and take down these guys. Actually, you know what? It may force another all-in here from CCalms, this Muta Harass. So effective right now for HoneyBear. Let's check in on these Stargates. What do we have coming out? It is Phoenix here. Wow. Good, good, good. Oh, lots of Phoenix already. The Phoenix should be able to chase these guys off here pretty well. And with good micro, good kiting, these Phoenix absolutely will outclass Mutalisks. Now, we should see... let's check in on the units tab first. Look at that. Even economies now. HoneyBear did do a lot of damage to his opponent economically there. So that's really, really good stuff. But we should see, I think, for CCalms a push here eventually. It looks as though HoneyBear may beat him to the punch, though, because here he comes right now with a enormous amount of Lings and an enormous amount of Mutalisks. Our CCalms is taking another base right now. Oh my goodness, a lot of these units getting caught off guard as they walk through there. Yeah, that engagement not going super well for CCalms at this point. Just really got to focus down these Mutalisks, but these good force fields here are going to be holding off these Zerglings for just a moment here, which is really, really useful at this point. But he's got to deal with these Mutalisks. These Mutalisks still wailing away at this army, just doing so much damage. And a lot of Zealots here not going to be able to attack the air units, that's for sure. Looks like that Warp Prism not going to live much longer. And looks like we are going to see HoneyBear entering the base. CCalms, I think, may know it at this point that he is about to be in serious, serious trouble. Oh, HoneyBear is a female. Sorry, I didn't know that. And into the mineral line he goes. Yep, and brutalizing the economy here for CCalms. I do believe that this is about to be GG. We did have a fleet beacon. However, there was no use of it quite yet, unfortunately, but that's okay. It looks as though this may be game here in just a moment. One last ditch effort potentially here from CCalms. We'll see what that's going to be. And I think he's just checking out what's going on here while he can, while he's still in game, just to see what he can do better in the next one. So we'll give him a moment, that's for sure. But I do believe that this is over. And yeah, look at that. Expands for HoneyBear going down all over the map right now. Cruising in here with all of these mutas. Yeah, Jwoo. Funny. HoneyBear is making him want to switch to Zerg. I agree, man. This is great Zerg play from him. Yeah, those spines are awesome. He's really done a great job with those spines. Really unique play style from HoneyBear. I mean, look at that. It's just awesome. I mean, what can you do with Zealots and Gateway units at this point? And you're like, man, you have to, it's like you have to go for either Mass Void Rays or Colossus or Immortals to really deal with these spine crawlers. I mean, even Archons, I guess, would work, but it's like tier 2 and up to deal with those spine crawlers there in that position. So, pretty interesting stuff. Looks like it's about to be game. Here in just a moment, we do have a probe. And that is game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have live tournament action coming at you right now. It is on MLG's Shakuras Plateau. And we are in the finals, but not only the finals, ladies and gentlemen. This is Game 5 of the Best of 5 here in the finals of our Open Alt Arena. All leagues were available to come, but it is down to 2 very high-level master players. And it is going to be tons of fun. They are in cross positions. Let's take a look. CCalms is going to be spawning as our pink Protoss up here in the top right-hand side of the map. Bottom left, we do find HoneyBear as our purple Protoss. I mean, how about purple Zerg, I should say. And good stuff there. We do have what appears to be a Forge Fast Expand here from CCalms. So I like that quite a bit. I think this is a great map to FFE on. And yeah, it tends to be fairly effective. HoneyBear going to be cruising out with his Overlord, and we would watch this guy for a good long while until he gets some scouting intel, but we don't want to die first, so we're going to go find something else to look at, and it is going to be that looks like he might be gearing up for an expand here in just a moment. We'll see if he is going to go hatch first or pool first. That will let us know where he's headed. I think even against Forge Fast expanding, pool first is probably a decent bet here, but we'll see what he's got. It just depends on how he likes to play that matchup. One of those things, I think the Zerg community still trying to figure out how to deal with really, really solid Forge Fast expanding from Protoss right now. We do have the Forge should be going down here in pretty decent time. Oh my goodness, he's going Nexus first. Interesting. Wow. Very, very interesting. So Nexus first. The Nexus is down. And he is going to be cruising around here with this probe. Wants to check and make sure that what the timing is on the spawning pool. Notice that the spawning pool not down here. So he is very, very good scouting here is what is enabling him to make this happen very, very well. And I think that's going to work in his favor here for just a little while. I mean, HoneyBear definitely not out of the game or anything, but it is definitely slightly behind at this point because that early Nexus going to really, really enable CCalms to brutalize his economy. Just overrun it with probes, and he can just do two base play off that, or even transition into 3 and 4 base play very, very quickly with that early economic advantage. So we should see him spending a lot of chronos on his Nexus here. And notice he's working on this wall off in pretty decent style, not even a cannon down quite yet. It's because of his good scouting here with this probe. He knows that nothing is really on the way at this point. Doesn't have to worry about an attack, so he's going to be saving those minerals unless he has to use them. So I like this reactionary type play, and it just comes down to good scouting. Now let's take a look at what HoneyBear's got going here. He is going to be, you know what? Oh, that's a good idea. I just had an epiphany, but I will tell you guys later. We do have metabolic speed boost on the way, as well as a second gas about to be complete here for HoneyBear. So he is going to be going for a little bit more tech in just a moment. Maybe off 2 base here, going to try and put some pressure on his opponent. Potentially, we'll see if that's going to be the case. Here in just a moment, we do have the Cyber Core going down here. I think that's a tight wall off. I can't really tell. Yeah, I do believe it's tight. Looks pretty tight to me. What can I say? So if it's not, maybe right there, potentially. No, it looks tight. But a tight wall off, not a bad choice here. So maybe that means that he's going to be going for Stargate play or Blink Stalker play. We'll see which one it's going to be. Either that or he's just going to have to kill a building. And it's going to have to be a gateway, I assume, unless he wants to rebuild the Cyber Core, or a Forge. I guess he could take out the Forge and rebuild the Forge, but they're all the same price, so it's a pick one scenario, I guess, right? And we do have Chrono going down on the Forge. It is going to be +1 weapon, so probably should see a Zealot push here with 6 or 7 Zealots, maybe. And push out across the map, and if your Zerg opponent is taking an expand at that point, oh, it is not going to be Zealots. Going to be Stalkers. So my guess at this point is we're going to see Blink Stalker play. We shall see. I do believe so. We do have the robotics going down, so that will enable him to get out an Observer, which is really, really good stuff there. And look at all of these Zerglings here for HoneyBear. Brutal stuff. He's massing up a decent amount of units here for defense. I think he does think that the Zealot attack is imminent and incoming, so he's trying to get up some defenses here. Does have 1 spine crawler out right now, but not quite enough for that attack anyway. I don't know, maybe it would be, but he's got plenty of Zerglings here, so he should be just fine if it were a Zealot attack, but there doesn't appear to be a Zealot attack on the way. We do have that +1 weapons though on the way, so that's nice stuff. There we do have a Twilight Council, so I assume we're going to see Blink out of that. We do have double gases going down as well. Let's check back in on HoneyBear. Notice what he's doing here. He's just going to be droning up and making it happen there on the drones. He's got plenty of Zerglings out on the field right now, but it appears that he may even be stopping production of drones here in just a moment, but I don't know. Let's check the units tab and see where he's at. He's at 32, 44 for CCalms, so CCalms definitely picking up an advantage there. So I don't know. Let's just watch the production tab for just a moment. HoneyBear still droning up, which I think is probably smart. You want to try and get at least on even footing in that sense, but he is going to get ventral sacks, so we could potentially see some drops into the main. Now that would be fun, fun, fun. Now we do have an observer cruising out across the field here for CCalms, going to be gathering some intel. He does see these units cruising out across the field here, so it is about to be go time for HoneyBear. Is this going to go well? I wonder, but a lot of units, and look at that. See CCalms responding very, very quickly and very, very appropriately, I think, at this point. And here comes the Overlords. One going down that was completely full. Another going down with a little few in there. A lot of units dying here. HoneyBear saying, really? And the answer, my friend, is yes. He did scout that. It was phenomenal scouting by CCalms. Look at that. He still has the observer following those guys around. Beautiful, beautiful play. That observer coming in so absolutely clutch. I love that he got that robotics facility out. And this is just wonderful, wonderful for CCalms. I do think that he is definitely ahead at this point. He's got to get himself unsupply blocked. He's fixing that right now. But going to be working on either taking his expand here or going for a counterattack in just a little bit. Now you can tell that blink is complete, obviously, since we do see this guy blinking around, and it looks as though he is going to send this observer over, could potentially blink up to this high ground here. I love this type of play on Shakur's Plateau. It tends to be very, very favorable for those blink stalkers, and we've seen CCalms blink stalker micro before, and it is top notch, ladies and gentlemen. And here it goes right now. Let's just check. It is going to be an expand here for HoneyBear, taking his third. And we are about to be blinking up, and up he goes. Gonna snipe a queen. And right to the mineral line. Gonna take out a decent number of drones there, and gonna go snipe the lair. Gonna stall that tech for going forward here. I'm liking that quite a bit. But here come the Lings to try and defend, but with this many blink stalkers, it's just going to be difficult to hold on. Taking out the Spire here, another great snipe. Slowing this tech down so very much at this point is brutal, brutal, brutal here for HoneyBear. He may end up having to just mass Lings and try and deal here. So this is beautiful stuff. And HoneyBear trying to help him, it appears. Trying to help him with his attack. And we do have a Warp Prism here to get some reinforcements in this position. A lot of blink stalkers here, going to be blinking down to the low ground to save themselves. Great blink micro, and taking out the spawning pool. A big loss here for HoneyBear. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this may be game. I just don't think that HoneyBear are going to be able to hold on here. With this much blink stalker, it's just going to be difficult. Look at that blink micro yet again coming into play there. Blinking down, and just making it happen. Phenomenal play. Phenomenal. Look at that. He hardly lost any stalkers during that engagement. And just able to annihilate a whole bunch of Lings. And that is game! Wow. I am super impressed with both of these players. HoneyBear, thanks so much for coming out, brother. We hope to see you in our next tournament. CCalms, thank you for coming out and playing. We finally got you to first place, brother, in one of my tournaments. High five to CCalms. That's awesome. And that is good stuff. But thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt-tab. Always alt-Starcraft. We will see you guys next time.